retrench from the Fatah movement for its corruption. So we found that the best way is to bring a new party to the government. Now, I remember at that time when the international community started threatening the Palestinians that if you are going to elect Hamas, a boycott is going to be imposed on you. Now, we, the Palestinians, were very pleased to hear that there is a boycott which is going to be imposed on the Palestinian Authority in that time, because we are not benefiting from such kind of support or donation of the international community. The only one who is benefiting is the government and the authorities. So nobody was scared on such kind of boycott, and the Palestinians decided to go and to vote for the Hamas. Now the Hamas won the elections. And the Hamas is the first one who established the first Palestinian government in 2006. But unfortunately, and I think that that was one of the biggest mistakes of Hamas, when they decided to make their own revolutionary in Gaza in 2007, around 1 year after they found their own government. Because Hamas is still interested to have their own country and their own state. And that's leading me a little bit backward. That Gaza Strip and the West Bank used to be separated from 1948 until 1967. The West Bank used to be ruled by the Jordanians. Gaza Strip used to be ruled by the Egyptians. Now, who united Gaza Strip with the West Bank? The Israeli occupation. No doubt about it. But looks like that we, the Palestinians, really not so satisfied with such kind of unity between the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Still, there are people in Gaza who want to be an independent, or to keep Gaza as an independent territory. And now is Hamas, no doubt that they are so happy with their own country. Now, in the meantime, I believe that the Fatah also so happy with their own country in the West Bank. So that's leading me exactly to the solution. When people are asking sometimes, what is the solution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? I am saying that the solution is three-state solution for two people. That's exactly. And I think that the both sides right now, the Hamas and the Fatah, by the way, are so satisfied from such kind of solution. This is the solution, what they can do. Now, if you will come to the Palestinians right now, any ordinary Palestinian, by asking him, listen, what are the most three priorities that you are seeking? Then he will say a job to survive, and to secure the education system and the health system for my children. What about the war? People are not talking about. What about the settlements? It's not my business. What about the Palestinian state? Go and ask Abbas about it. So look where the people right now are stuck, in my opinion. They are just looking, in my opinion, for a better daily life. They don't want to think about any future of any Palestinian state. And that's leading me to the current situation right now, that Abbas is losing more and more support among his own people. I don't think that people really appreciate Abbas when he submit his draft to the UN, which almost failed. Already Abbas threatened the international community in the past 2 years that I am going to submit a draft to put an end for the Israeli occupation in 2 years. Now, yesterday night, it's failed. What else we can do? Tomorrow, by the way, the Fatah organization is going to celebrate its 51 anniversary. So Abbas thought that if such draft will pass at the UN, that will be a huge achievement for the Fatah. But now, are the Fatah going to cancel its celebration tomorrow? Is Abbas going to dismantle the Palestinian Authority? I believe that probably today in Gaza will celebrate the failure on accepting the Palestinian draft at the UN. Because that's exactly that the Hamas wanted. And they told Abbas, don't do it. So I believe that the Hamas will be very happy on that right now. So while the Palestinians right now are living under such internal fight between themselves, I think that looks like that it's still very early to look which kind of peace we are going to achieve with the Israelis. It's like that, first of all, go and clean your house and then come to me. I believe that if Abbas tomorrow will meet with Netanyahu, the first question Netanyahu will tell Abbas, whom you are representing here? Gaza Strip or Palestinians diaspora? Which is, in my opinion, Abbas only representing his wife and 2 sons. So this is why, probably, this is one of the reasons why the Palestinians has a kind of a lack of trust in their own leaders. We never expect during the first Intifada that we are going to receive such kind of a leadership, which came from the generation of Abus, you know, Abu's father of Abu Ammar, Abu Mazen, Abu Ali. I think that we fed up from that generation of Abus. We need some young people, fresh blood, to start thinking about the future of the Palestinians. I don't think that there is a leadership right now among the Palestinians who are thinking about the public interest of the Palestinians. Everybody is running after his own personal interest. And that's very painful, by the way. In my opinion, that's even much more painful than the occupation itself. Now let's go to Gaza. We remember the 51 days war on the Gaza Strip. Of course, that I am totally against what the Israelis did in Gaza Strip. But in the middle of the war, I decided to write an article. And that article was very critical towards the Hamas and how the Hamas is using their own people as a human shield. I have a lot of contacts in the Gaza Strip. Every day I used to speak with people on telephone and via email and to see what's really going on. I remember in one of the incidents when the Israeli army sent messages to the people in the north of Gaza, asking them to evacuate their homes and houses, because the Israelis going to bomb the area. When the people decided to get out of that neighborhood, Beit Lahia, 4 of the Hamas masked people are waiting at the entrance of the neighborhood and kicking the people back to their homes by calling them Israeli collaborators. Because when you listen to the Israelis or when you obey such kind of order, you are a collaborator. you must have to be killed inside your house. And among the others, I said that if Israel using its rockets and missiles to protect their people, Hamas is using his people to protect his missiles and rockets. That's exactly what's happening in Gaza. I felt very sorry about what's going on in Gaza, but here again, 2,200 people killed, another probably 50,000 people homeless right now in Gaza. And again, we came again to the same record about the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip. Who is going to reconstruct Gaza Strip? I don't believe that there is anyone who is interested to reconstruct Gaza. Because Gaza looks like that every year it needs a kind of reconstruction. But on the other side, the donors never ever try to check how to reconstruct the Hamas itself. I think that the Hamas need the reconstruction, not the Gaza Strip. But looks like that we became into, or we approach a kind of a commercial conflict rather than it is a political conflict. In my opinion, every side here is just earning money and money and money on that conflict. And that's led us to a way that the Palestinians and the Israelis really became experts how to manage the conflict rather than to solve it. And we are managing it. By shooting rockets towards Israel and pulling Israel to come and to bomb to Gaza, this is a management for the conflict. No doubt about it. So where we are going now, in my opinion, nowhere. We almost stuck. We don't know, we the Palestinians at least, we don't know exactly what's going on. Now everybody is suggesting to the Palestinians that you must have to wait until the coming Israeli elections. I believe that after the Israeli coming elections, somebody will tell us, listen, wait till the coming elections of the US. Then after the US election, somebody will come by saying, wait, after Zimbabwe elections. So where we are going, in my opinion, nowhere. We almost stuck, and I don't believe also, on the other side, that the Americans can help in the solution. I don't believe that the Europeans can help in the solution. If there is no a goodwill from the both sides, Palestinians and Israelis, I don't believe that we will be able to solve it. And in my opinion, the continuation of the conflict is also probably for one important reason, that there is a lack of leadership among the both sides. Thank you very much. What's going on right now in Syria, inside the refugee camp, Al-Yarmouk refugee camp, we are the reason for that. Because one of the Palestinian political parties, headed by Ahmad Jibreen, start fighting against the Syrian opposition in the camp. In the camp. So we caused the disaster. And that's reminding me, when I said once, that whatever a disaster happened to us, we consider it as a win. In 1948, we win. In 1967, we win. In 2014, in Gaza, we win. So imagine that if our disasters considered as a win, imagine how our defeat is going to be. That's exactly. Towards the Arab countries, listen, I think that we, the Palestinians right now, has a huge conflict with Jordan about East Jerusalem, And I think that it's even tougher than the one with the Israelis. Because Jordan, first of all, considered itself a little bit suspicious towards the Palestinians. They are not trusting us. They are not trusting us. And the Jordanians are following any kind of process that the Palestinians are trying to approach. Because they want to be on the safe side. On the safe side. So this is also another problem, that the holy places, imagine that you have a capital, yeah? Let's say that in 10 years, each Jerusalem will be the capital of Palestine, yeah? But the holy places will be under the responsibility of Jordan. So which capital you are talking about? Where is the capital? Where is the capital? So I can imagine we have a big troubles with Kuwait also, because we remember in 1990 when it was occupied by Saddam Hussein, and we the Palestinians support the Iraqis' occupation to Kuwait. Imagine. Yeah. So this is the situation. Yes, we have big troubles with the Arabs. Yes, please.
Do you see anyone currently on the Israeli side who would be willing to go forward towards a better situation?
Maybe it's a believe me.
And if not, yeah, that's my second question. What do you expect will happen now?
I'm not expecting anything right now. I think that we, the Palestinians, has a very bad experience with Sibili. We remember here when she was under the government of Ehud Olmert, and we achieved at least nothing. You know, this is excellent for the Israelis. The whole conflict is the elections propaganda. I can consider it. It's not election campaign, it's an election propaganda. Now look to the Israelis. What is Herzog is saying, what is Tzipilivni is saying, what is Kahlon is saying, even what is Lieberman is saying. You know, Lieberman also became, you know, a kind of a Galon Lieberman, yeah? Galon Lieberman, you can call it, because he said that he is ready to give his house in Kdumim for the Palestinians in turn to reach peace. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, yeah? I couldn't believe it, but unfortunately, this is all the time happening with such corrupt leaders, like the Arab world, like the Arab world. Yes, please. What is the Arab Hussein? He almost passed. He almost passed. Nobody can answer your question. Yeah, I don't know. It sometimes looks very funny when King Abdullah of Jordan demanding the international community for the foundation of a Palestinian state. Excuse me, but we were under your father 19 years. He never gave us any attention. And that's exactly what's going on. But that's also showing you that the issue of the Palestinian state is not only a problem of Israel, but I think that it's also a problem for the Arab countries. Yes, please.
Firstly, thank you for
Thank you.
speaking out. I was speaking here and speaking out. I would imagine it must be dangerous to do what you do. So.
Really not so much.
My question, do you ever speak, obviously it's great that you speak to a crowd like this, but do you ever speak to the media and also governments, European governments in particular, because you talked obviously about the corruption of the Palestinian leadership. It's European governments are one of the culprits really in propping them up, $4.5 billion with no preconditions and no checks at all on how the money is spent. In this last reconstruction, did you ever get the chance to speak to them?
I'm not really so care about governments and parliamentarians. No, I prefer, you know, to have wonderful, ordinary people, yeah, and to talk to them, because only these people who might understand me. Politicians will never understand.